Task-based language learning and teaching. A task can be defined from different perspectives, according to authors such as Dunham, Long, Willis, Skehan, and Ellis. Dunham conceptualized tasks as activities that require comprehending, producing, manipulating, or interacting in authentic language, while attention is principally paid to meaning rather than words. Long states the task is meant 101 things people do in everyday life, at work, at play, and in between. Tasks are the things people will tell you they do if you ask them, and they are not applied linguists. Willis argues that a task is an activity where the target language is used by the learner for a communicative purpose or goal in order to achieve an outcome. Skeha affirms that tasks are activities which have meaning as their primary focus. Success in tasks is evaluated in terms of achievement of an outcome, and tasks generally bear some resemblance to real-life language use. So, task-based instruction takes a fairly strong view of communicative language teaching. Ellis states that is an activity or goal that is carried out using language, such as finding a solution to a puzzle, reading a map, and giving directions, making a telephone call, writing a letter, or reading a set of instructions. In order to plan a task-based lesson, effective teacher needs to reflect on these questions. Does the activity engage learners' interest? Is there a primary focus on meaning? Is there a clear outcome for learners to achieve? Is success judged in terms of outcome? Is completion a priority? Does the activity relate to real-world activities? Willis proposes to group tasks into 6 types of categories as a basis for task design, and description builds on knowledge hierarchies. 1. Listing where the completed outcome is a list. 2. Ordering and sorting tasks involve sequencing, ranking, categorizing, or classifying items. 3. Comparing tasks involve finding differences or similarities in information. 4. Problem-solving tasks demand intellectual activity as in puzzles or logic problems. 5. Sharing personal experiences, for example, tasks that allow learners to talk freely about themselves and share experiences. 6. Creative tasks, for example, projects often involving several stages that can incorporate the various types of tasks above and can include the need to carry out some research. According to Willis, this classification is not exhaustive, but it will help to generate a variety of actual tasks. Pika, Kanai, and Faladu classify tasks according to the type of interaction that occurs in task accomplishment. So we have the following classification. Jigsaw tasks, in which learners combine pieces of information to form a whole. Information gap tasks, in which one student has one set of information and the other has the complementary set of information. They must negotiate to complete the activity. Problem-solving tasks, in which students are given a problem or a set of information. Then they solve the problem. There is generally a single resolution of the problem. Decision-making tasks, in which students are given a problem for which there are a number of possible outcomes, but they choose one through negotiation and discussion. Opinion exchange tasks, in which learners engage in discussions and exchange of ideas. They do not need to reach agreement. Willis recommends this sequence of activities in the procedure. Pre-task, in which teacher provides an introduction to a topic and a task. Task cycle is related to task, planning, and report. Post-task, in which reflecting and comparison of tasks take place. Language focus, in which there is analysis and practice of activities. In the pre-task, there is an introduction to a topic and a task in which teacher helps students to understand the theme and objectives of it. There are also odd word out games. Teacher may highlight useful words and phrases, but will not pre-teach new structures. Likewise, students can be given preparation time to think about how to do the task. Students can hear a recording of a parallel task being done. If the task is based on a task, students read part of it. During the task, teacher walks around and monitors, encouraging in a supportive way everyone's attempts at communication in the target language. Planning prepares for the next stage, when students are asked to report briefly to the whole class how they did the task and what the outcome was. Teacher asks some pairs to report briefly to the whole class so everyone can compare findings or begin a survey. In the post-task, students listen to a recording of fluent speakers doing the same task and compare the ways in which they did the task themselves. In the language focus for the analysis, teacher sets some language-focused tasks based on the text students have read or on the transcripts of the recording they have heard. For the practice, teacher conducts practice activities as needed based on the language analysis work already on the board or using examples from the text or transcript. Some examples of tasks and task sequences provided by Willis are memory challenge, for example, when teacher puts objects on a tray. Guess what I've got in my bag today? Draw up your ideal school timetable. Plan a class party for the end of term. Describe in detail how to make your favorite food. Classify dishes, then compare recipes. Earthquake safety. Design a leaflet for overseas visitors. Here are some pedagogical problems teachers can face when dealing with TBLT and their solutions. The first problem refers to the fact that teachers often believe that TBLT is not possible with beginners and that students lack proficiency to communicate in L2. For the solution, teachers need to understand that TBLT involves input-based as well as output-based tasks, and that it is possible to build up proficiency initially through a series of simple input-based tasks and devise activities gradually. The second problem is that students may be unwilling to risk communicating freely. The solution is to allow planning time and train the learners with the appropriate TBLT procedure. The third problem is that students will resort to communicating in their L1 or develop pidginized language system. However, this is not a problem. As proficiency is developed, learners automatically begin to use more of the L2. Another problem is that teachers may not fully understand the principles of TBLT or do not have the proficiency to teach communicatively. The solution is to have a more effective teacher training. So, why should teachers implement task-based learning? First of all, tasks can be easily related to a student's real-life language needs. For example, pedagogic tasks can be designed to reflect target tasks. Another reason is that tasks create context that facilitate second language acquisition. For example, an L2 is best learned through communicating. Likewise, tasks create opportunities for focusing on work and meaning. Also, we have that the students are more likely to develop intrinsic motivation in a task-based approach. A task-based approach enables teachers to see if the students are developing the ability to communicate in L2. Moreover, task-based teaching offers the opportunity for national learning inside the classroom. And finally, it is compatible with a learner-centered educational philosophy, but also allows for teacher input and direction.